Another top story, Senate leadership made a big announcement. It's going to take up the debate over marijuana in the coming weeks.
Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Joe St. George joins us now live with an in-depth look at how this issue could impact us here in South Texas. Joe, good morning. We know this is a very hot topic as the drug remains illegal at the federal level. Could anything actually change over this debate?
You know, this is something that folks waking up with us in South Texas are going to have to watch in two places, right? Watching it in Austin and how the politics of this is evolving in the state of Texas, and also watching this here in Washington, D.C. as the politics at the federal level change. We've already seen a number of Republicans become more willing to see marijuana reforms. We've seen Governor Abbott in Texas speak out saying that he doesn't believe jails should be filled with people who are possessing a small amount of cannabis. We know where Democrats like Beto O'Rourke stand on this issue, more decriminalization push. There's obviously advocates across Texas who would like to see this decriminalized in Texas and join states like Colorado and California. That push is still a ways away, though, from it being fully implemented statewide in Texas. And then there's the federal issue. Remember, even though states like California have legalized recreational marijuana in recent years, it's illegal at the federal level. It's still classified as a drug on the same level with heroin and cocaine. And there has been a real frustration by a lot of cannabis advocates, not just in Texas, but around the country, that Democrats, President Biden, after all, they control Congress, they control the White House, that they haven't done more on this issue over the course of the first year of the Biden presidency. Well, Congress is about to wade into a big debate on this. The Senate making clear last week that this is going to be a priority for them in the coming weeks. Does this mean that it could be legalized nationwide? Looking at the votes, looking at the makeup, we still may be a ways off on that issue, but there are some modest reforms that could take place impacting individuals' records, impacting federal prosecution, impacting what it looks like in a state where it's legal already. So something to keep an eye on, not just in Austin, but here in D.C. as well.
Do you have a timeline, Joe, on when we'll start seeing these talks?
Yeah, you know, the U.S. Senate is expected to do it in the coming weeks. I know that isn't a specific date. Things are always flexible here in the U.S. Senate, but a lot of advocates have been waiting for Senator Chuck Schumer to say, okay, marijuana is up next. And that's what he did last week by saying that this is going to be a priority for them moving forward. We'll watch it carefully. It's, of course, a lot easier to say it's a priority than actually pass new pieces of legislation.
And Joe, with our final minute that we have with you, Ukraine continues to be on the brink of a conflict with Russia. What's the latest in a timetable, and are there any chances of peace being made between those two countries?
Well, big news this morning for those just waking up with us. Russia announcing that they are pulling back some, and we emphasize some troops from the Ukrainian border. Ukrainian officials are still skeptical of this, saying they'll believe it when they see it. That being said, it represents a real change in what we've been hearing the last few days, that conflict is imminent, war is imminent. This suggests that diplomacy, de-escalation is still possible. We have a graphic I think we can show you how this would impact you in South Texas. The big thing being potentially gas prices. It's already averaging around $3.50 nationwide. Russia is one of the world's largest oil producers, and this could disrupt the global markets, which would impact the price at your neighborhood pump. Not to mention it could result in increased tensions around the world. After all, other countries have interest in different land too. China has an interest in Taiwan, for instance. North Korea has an interest in South Korea. They're watching this conflict all very carefully should something break out, not to mention more deployments would be possible. But again, the big news this morning, de-escalation, at least a glimmer of hope, with Russia announcing that some troops are going to be returning from the border with Ukraine.
Important insight, Joe. Thank you so much for your time today.
We look forward to speaking with you again next week.